Short channel here over at SubStars. So why Dragon Age bombed and another somewhat similar game did well? Well, diversity, woke feminism, and ugly characters. It's not that deep. People, if they're paying for something, they want to be entertained. And they don't want ugly gay lectures on pronouns or whatever soy belief is popular for that day, because most people are not gay left-wingers. There's a small subset of very loud people on social media, I guess teenagers probably, the blue-haired, who think there's some kind of LGBTQ nonsense, and they're not. And they're not supporting the things financially that they say they want. That's otherwise known as virtue signaling, where they say one thing and do another. And for some reason, that's hard for a lot of people to understand. Like they look at these people like, you mean they're lying right to our face? Yes, that's what virtue signaling is all about, because it's free to say things on Twitter. It doesn't matter. So the left wing hates beauty and traditional gender roles, and that's kind of its own deeper issue. They hate stability because they're ugly coomers addicted to degeneracy. They think people are equal, and they're not. But the only way to make people equal would be to dumb everyone down and uglify everything, which you can do. You can remove statues and artworks in museums and whatnot. And I was arguing with somebody on Twitter about the Department of Education. It was 50 odd years ago, and they go, America had a high ranking when they started the Department of Education, and ever since then it's got worse every year. And the left wing answer to that is, oh, put more money in it. You go, but it's failed for 50 years. You don't continue to throw good money after bad. That's a black hole. You just said you abandon it and let it go to the states, handle it at the states level, or ultimately let private parties set up private schools. And they look at that and they're like, no, we can't do that. We have to have the globalist government control to propagandize kids. Like, the kids are coming out of school and they can't read or write. And they go, oh, I know the solution to that is to ban the advanced classes, because it makes some groups of people feel bad, and put more money in things that don't work. It's like, that just gets more stupid kids, but they're kids who have been indoctrinated into the right beliefs. So people are not equal. And the body diversity thing that kicked into gear about 5 years ago was really an interesting example. What a short-lived, no pun intended, movement that was. I mean, the only movement without movement. And a lot of those leaders of it are no longer on this mortal coil because their hearts stopped working. So that went out the window. The thing is, if you're in shape, you are a better person than if you're fat. And if you've been in shape or gained a few pounds, that's true. Some groups are smarter, and you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring it. So this Gamer magazine was triggered that Dragon Age was a bomb. And hopefully Assassin's Creed that comes out in a couple days, I guess, is going to be a bomb as well as Snow White is coming out the 21st. I might go see that in the theater. And some other similar game, this Monster Hunter, did well. And then you look at the characters side by side, and Dragon Age is ugly, masculine, female, hybrid type of things with pronoun lectures and feminist diversity themes. And you compare it to what I think of as more Japanese designed feminine characters, and ask the woke crowd if they're stupid, because those two things are not the same. Feminine females are what people want, not the androgynous, cultural, Kalergi, Marxist, New World Order stuff, because we're not gay globalists. Women should look and act like women. What's going on is this battle taking place on social media where a woke game comes out, and part of the customer base laughs at it, rightfully so, because it's gay, feminist, diverse, and ugly. So this other left-wing potential customer base argues with them about that so they can defend the company, which is a weird flex for the left wing to be defending multi-billion-dollar companies, because it's pushing their Larry Fink propaganda. I mean, because now these blue-haired, childish weirdos work at these companies. But them defending the company actually makes things worse, because you can see that these disingenuous coomer freaks support the woke elements, and since they're disgusting, the other side just doubles down, and the consequences are that fewer people buy the game, which is the other part of the real story, is the power of the audience to deal with these corporations by using social media to laugh at woke. Now, the left wing doesn't understand normal people, so they try to have a fight in the comment section where they think they can win but they can't, because win or lose, the only winning that matters to the company is if they sell games. The normal people think the BLTQV stuff and feminism and diversity is stupid, and females should be pretty and feminine, and the left wants to win an argument which is pointless but enjoyable to watch, because they compare a cute Japanese female with a 200-pound muscular American he-she beast and say, well, what's the difference? What are you, like, purposely being disingenuous? The difference is that we're straight, and like attractive characters probably attract customers. Diversity is a negative trait, which the left says, oh, so what you're saying is if diversity, then woke, then a negative. Yes, let me be clear. Diversity, feminism, the BLT elements in games are stupid, and they affect sales negatively. They push the customer out the door. Gamers want the beautiful Japanese style, the whitest of white characters as possible, blondes preferably, all straight, no diversity. The left doesn't know what to do with that when you're just blunt with them. Like, who's a Sam Cedar guy? Some ethno-nationalist, Christian nationalist girl was talking to him, and he didn't have a counter argument, because like what she was saying was more people were objectively true, and it's on the Rumble. It's a short little TikTok clip. So they don't know what to do with it when you just look them in the eye and you're honest with them. You say, oh, this stuff is stupid because it's stupid. You're not going to change my mind on this. And they go, oh, so you're a Nazi extreme whatever. Like, yes, that's precisely the definition of Hugo Boss. That's what they fought for in 1939 when they marched into Poland. Cute Japanese animation. It was the secret war plans. They wanted Poland's underground animation studios. We don't value gay, trans, non-white, whatever, all the woke stuff. I don't see how much clearer I can be. You see these elements in movies and games, and what happens? Oh, they lose money. Like, there's a long history over the past 15 years now. Video games, Dragon Age, Concord, and movies, Black Captain America, Madam Web, The Marvels, The Eternals, Charlie's Angels, The Terminator Part whatever, 5, 6, S Squad Part 2, Birds of Prey, Black Widow, Black Adam, that Mel Gibson Sandy Vagina movie, I think it's called Furiosa. You'd have to be insane. And, Ghostbusters, the 2016 one, and then the remake they made with the kids, I think they both lost money because it's just not what people were looking for. You'd have to be insane not to see the connections. Where people see ugly, diverse characters, they know that they're going to be woke Mary Sues. And now it's so bad that it has become an ingrained Pavlovian response. So even when some of these movies are not that bad, the movies and games still fail. And Captain Marvel? No, The Marvels, the one that came out a couple months ago with Brie Larson and some other sidekicks. It was an okay movie, but it just like, oh, 3 females, two diversity hires, and nobody went out to watch it. Same thing with Madam Web. It's like you got this girl with these huge milkers in the lead role. I didn't even notice the other 2 girls, and even that was not enough to get people in the theaters. So you go, 3 women, it's gonna be girl power. It's gonna be Charlie's Angels. Nobody wants to see it. So they show an image of a Dragon Age ugly masculine female with antlers or something, and they ask, well, why don't you want to play Zer, Zim, Otherkin, and respect their pronouns? Because if the left-wing soy boy coomers like it, then it's ruined for normal people. It's ugly, it looks like a man. Oh, so what you're saying is blah, 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 something about whatever. They have a fundamental misunderstanding where they think they can win over and change someone's opinion. People don't want to see me in a dress in a game or a movie. They want to see Lara Croft because women are not men, which is very triggering for them. And the other issue is that we explain that, like pronouns are sex-based and genders derived from sex, and there are only 2. That's our opinion. We've already arrived at this conclusion. Some blue-haired brainwashed coomer who jerks off to furry porn every night is not going to change our mind. None of the pronoun stuff is real. This is all a fad. It's going to pass like tulip mania. Was that 200 years ago up in, I don't know, Denmark or something? They were trading flowers. They still trade flowers, but at one time they were really gilding the lily. But this generation of left-wing pussies are the participation trophy generation, where they think that their feelings and virtue signaling about the latest fad their globalist media masters program them to care about matters to other people. If a game has a lecture on pronouns, as this game literally did, it was like a 5-minute scene, it's friggin' bizarre, most normal people won't buy it because that's stupid. the left wing has a cringe problem. It's a case of they're pushing something, and then you go look at their social media page, and they're degenerate, porn-addicted Coomer parasites. It's the worst endorsement a company could get when the people who are defending some game have the 6-colored rainbow flag. It's not Roji Biv, the 7-colored. There's a whole history to the flag, and it goes exactly where you'd expect. But they have that other flag, the trans flag. It's like blue and white and pink, I think. It looks like it looks evil, is what it looks like. But when you have those people endorsing something, most people look at this and go, "Oh, it's just kids who jumped on a bandwagon." They don't. It's like it's going to be horrible. It's sort of similar to that Heinlein book movie, Starship Troopers, that they're going to remake. Yes, they're going to remake Starship Troopers because they made a movie and like your media literacy wasn't good enough. Like, oh, you made a movie in the 90s with Denise Richards. I think that enjoyable movie. It was fun. It's just a good time. We don't need to overanalyze it. They go, no, media literacy. You didn't. Look at them like, hey, you didn't read the book and you made the movie to like virtue signal, but people disagreed with you on your media literacy. It's like Pulp Fiction, Fight Club, Falling Down, Blazing Saddles. When they made those movies, they had one thing in mind. You watch those movies, you thought, oh, they're fine. Put on the They Live glasses and go watch those movies again, and they're not what you think they are. The thing is, the left hears the word fascist, and it has a certain meaning to them, has gravitas that's different than to us. It's a much lighter word. They think that they can attach the word alone to a group of Chads and Stacys, and we should know, oh, well, they're the bad guys because they said this word, except the Chads and Stacys are almost always the good guys. And physiognomy is real. Dystengenic, blue-haired freaks are usually the bad guys. Who's that blonde girl on Cringe Panda? People who look like her are usually the good people. They're on the right side of history. And honestly, there's a lot of women in this kind of writer center movement. I'm not going to go through and name them all because I sound like a simp. And they're all good looking. And I think there's something to this where you look at the left wing and you go, I could probably tell you who the left wingers are because some of them go out of their way to make themselves look ugly. It's they pierce the cattle nose ring and just screw up their hair as much as possible. Anyway, it becomes kind of a euphemistic treadmill where if Chad and Stacy are fit, blonde, and smiling, then fascism is clearly great because it leads you to these people, and the communists are these disgusting vermin that should be, well, I'll say so in a green. I'm in recycled. Anyway, as to Assassin's Creed, it's a black samurai. That's stupid. He should be Japanese. It's in Japan 500 years ago. And let me say something that sounds a little crazy and hypocritical, and I can say this because I know there's no Poxwalks people listening to this. If they made him white, it would still be better because white people are not pandered to in games. There's not that woke Pavlovian response where if you see a black character in a game, then you know it's going to be a Mary Sue, and the correlation is so tight. It's just not worth watching, even when the movie is not that way. You could have a story about some shipping company or pirates or something goes into those seas, and you get like an English swordsman, a Val Kilmer type from the 80s to join up for some reason. And I would forgive that silliness because I'm so tired of POC characters. I have PTSD from POCs where I don't want to see another POC character pretty much in anything. And white characters have not caused the burnout. And I know how people hear that, and I know how that sounds a little weird, but like, follow the logic of what I just said. I think it logically is consistent. European characters can be multifaceted. They can have skills in some areas and, detriments in others, where a Pox character has to be a Mary Sue because otherwise these insane left-wingers who don't watch the movies or even play the games will get on Twitter and they'll lose their freaking mind to virtue signal about how something is problematic and all kinds of nonsense. And you look at them like, you weren't going to pay for the product anyway. And that's what people seem to forget is that like these companies have to eventually make money on this kind of stuff. So I know they say it's like, oh, that's racist. Well, there's kind of another issue that racism isn't actually real. It's as real as the fake pronouns. It's how globalist media manipulates you. It's all a psyop that has been brainwashed into people multi-generationally since post World War II, and it's its own video, and not one for YouTube unless it was all dog whistles. These left-wing kids think that the things they say, their words, will influence us somehow. It's racist not to want a black samurai. Great, that is absolutely fantastic. And they look at you like, but I just called you fascist, istophobic. All these, I said all these words, and these words are negatives. They're negatives to you. They don't have the same meaning to us because you haven't. Words have to be proven. There has to be support for arguments before you lead to conclusions. And the left wing just starts with a conclusion and concludes with a conclusion, where they go, "Oh, we just accept this as fact." It's like, well, that reasonable people don't think like that. They have to have a logical argument carried out, usually via IRAC, issue rule analysis conclusion, if you're into law, or scientific method. Like, we just don't accept conclusions for things. Anyway, if these soy jacks, these cat ladies, and these soy boys, if they like these games and movies, they would go support them. And the brutal reality is they're just not. And we'll see when Assassin's Creed comes out. If if it does well, okay, then it slipped through the filter. I kind of don't think it will. And then Snow White. How well is Snow White going to do? I hope to God it bombs. Though I'll probably go see it with my. I have a friend who might go see it with me. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys all next episode.